Welcome, Dayton Public Schools and viewing audience. We're here for the DPS Next Level episode 11. I'm superintendent now, David E. Lawrence, and I'm here with some really dynamic people. Actually, I'm here with the people who really run the district, and they're going to introduce themselves and their titles, and then we're going to have a conversation.
Hi, I'm Carla McCluskey. I am the administrative specialist for the Office for Exceptional Children.
Good morning. I'm Yvonne McCory Dickerson, Administrative Assistant, Charity Adams Early, Academy for Girls.
Kim Lewis, former Executive Assistant, retiree, rehired as Attendant/Secretary at Cleveland Elementary.
Julie Booth, Data Tech at David H. Ponit CTC.
Good morning. I'm Lucretia Morris, Secretary at the best high school, Thurgood Marshall High School.
Say less.
Hey everybody, I'm Ronika Williams from the Paul Laurence Dunbar High School. Go Blue. I'm the administrative assistant.
Well, this is a special day. I can't say anything here. I mean, this might be a tie. I graduated from Dunbar and I was the principal at Thurgood, so I say nothing about either. Hey, listen, we're here today in all seriousness because I spend my days, as everybody knows, I repeat it, going into buildings every day to see children and kids and adults and check on how we're doing in Dayton Public Schools. And after almost 30 years in this business of education, there's one thing that is really clear if you're a leader, is that the folks who support you, you just cannot do it without them. Like, I just couldn't function without the people who work to support me. So, like, that's Denise Gum, Sarita Brake, Christina Gilbert. I couldn't function. I would have to go home for the day, call it a day. So, I'd really like for you to hear and see the backbone of our district, the people who do all the different things around supporting kids and adults every day here in Dayton Public Schools. So I guess my first question is, which one of these things would you consider yourself? A psychologist, a nurse, a caregiver, friend, what else? What else do you do? What are some other things, roles that you have? I just named off just a few. What are some other roles that you have? And anybody can jump in. What are some other roles that you have?
Mother.
Oh, yeah, mother. Absolutely. That's a good one. Definitely mother kids. What's another role that you have that folks might not know that's not in your job description?
Auntie.
Auntie, yeah.
Caregiver.
Caregiver.
Lunch lady.
Lunch lady. Okay. We're already up to about 7 or 8 and counting.
Therapist.
Oh, therapist. Absolutely. Therapist.
Confidant.
Yes, confidant. What about advisor? You give advice to kids?
Absolutely.
All the time, probably. What else?
Sometimes we need security.
Yeah, security. What else?
My role is a little bit different because I don't work directly with kids, but the people I do work with, they're my kids, apparently, because they call me the mom of the office, so.
The adult kids. I'll write that down. You're right, the adult kids. What else? What about the leaders you support? What are you to them?
Shelly's great, so.
Oh, yeah.
Shelly and I
she
have been
is.
working together for 5 years, and she's amazing. She knows everything about everything, and she knows everybody. And in this district, you need to know people.
What makes that relationship work?
We vibe really well. She's funny. Anything you say to Shelly, she has a song lyric to go with it.
Okay.
She'll start singing with you.
Got you.
Whether you want her to or not, she says, but I love it when she sings. I trust her, I respect her, and I think it's reciprocated.
Who else wants to talk about their leader and what makes their relationship work?
Go ahead.
My leader is LaDawn Mims, principal at Cleveland Elementary. She's awesome. She's ready to be an administrator, but she wants to stick around, and she loves the children. My career has always been in the executive office, but really enjoyed working at the school building. When I first started at Cleveland, one of my first projects was getting the filing system together. And now people can go in and pull out a file and not have to dig through it because it's labeled properly. But LaDon gives me kudos all the time. Kim, I appreciate you, and we get along well. Oh, we get along very well.
Yeah, who else would like to talk about their leader and what makes the relationship work?
I want to give a great big shout out to my principal, Mrs. Katrina Bailey. I have known her actually since the first year I worked at Dunbar. I've been working at Dunbar for 5 years, and that's like a big sister to me. She's actually like a big sister / a mom because we have that relationship where at school, before school, outside, it's just amazing. And she has a kind heart. She's going to tell you how it is. She's going to take care of you. And I really do appreciate her from the bottom of my heart. She gets me together. She gets me in line. But we work hand in hand. And I don't know a better duo, actually. 'Cause we are that close.
There's a pattern I just picked up here. Do you know that every one of the leaders you support is a woman?
Yeah.
So powerful women here today.
Yeah.
Women supporting women. Who else would like to talk about their leader and
I
what
can
makes that
piggyback on
relationship
that.
work?
Over at Charity Adams Early Academy for Girls, there's a lot of history there with my leader. Carla Goins is our principal. And we opened Charity Adams back in 2005. First girls' school in Dayton, Ohio. Back then, Carla Goins was a teacher, and since then, she's gone through many ranks, many positions to get to where she is now. So we have a different type of relationship. And of course, I started as a secretary where I am today there. But our dynamics are a little different at Charity Adams. We have over 360 little girls, pre-K through 8th grade. So the dynamics of our building are a little different. The culture is a little different. You have to kind of be committed to those girls and their lives and the stories that they bring in every day. And Principal Goins she's just there. She's just there for them. Every morning, our day begins at 7. She's at that door, and she's good morning and hello, and she's giving hugs, and she's tying shoes. But we've kind of, since 2005, we've been together a long time. She left me for a minute, and that's okay. But she's back. She's back now. So yeah, we've gone through some things together.
Julie? What about you and Lalita?
Me and Lolita get along great. She's first year principal this year. First year as the data tech over there. We've got some growing pains that we've gone through together, and we're getting through them. And she supports me. I get texts on the weekend. Thank you, appreciate you.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
it's nice to know, that feel appreciated for sure.
Definitely.
And-
Definitely. So you are here today.
Thank you.
Well, I know we saved the best for last.
Yes.
Working with Shavin Lewis, our principal. This is her first year. She's a Colonel White alumni, so am I. So I knew her back when I was in high school. She was a fairly new teacher, the cheerleading coach, and so she came back after she graduated to give back to Colonel White. Now she's the principal at Thurgood. Ronika said she didn't know a better duo between her and Mrs. Bailey, but here's the better duo. Shout out to Miss Shavin Lewis. Shout out to Miss Mo and Miss Care, our assistants. I appreciate them. I love the way Miss Lewis, this is her first year, but you wouldn't be able to tell it. She's she dove in and she's just doing her thing. She's very soft-spoken, but she captivates the students' attention and redirects them in just a different way. And I love seeing that every day. I also appreciate how she lets me do my thing. She trusts me. She lets me be more than a secretary. I've had administrators in the past that are at other schools now. They told me that, I do too much. I don't allow kids in my office. And I'm like, well, we do things a little different here because sometimes we're the only smile that the students receive.
Well
a lot of our students are in group homes. And, I tell my students I love them. They can always come and talk to me about anything. So I love that she allows me to be more than a secretary.
I love it. I love it. Kudos to her. Kudos to her. Hey, these jobs in education are difficult. There's no doubt about that. People oftentimes, when they see you and they see my badge, they go, "What do you do?" I say, "I'm an educator." I don't typically talk about titles. Even from when I was a teacher to now, I just say I'm an educator. And the first thing they say is, "Man, how you do that with those kids?" What's the toughest part of your jobs? They're all kind of different. All the jobs here aren't the same. So what's the toughest part of your jobs? What's to talk about the difficult part of their job?
Not being able to take care of all of the kids. You know, sometimes you just want to take them all home with you, and because they're having bad experiences and everything, and it's just there's so many kids I just want to load up in my car and take home every day, just so that I know that they're having a warm meal, a roof over their head, and clean clothes.
Difficult situations out there. Yeah, what's another tough part of the job? Was
was
it easy?
I would say not being able to say everything you may be thinking or feeling, especially if you see a parent that's not taking care of their child, and these are our babies during the day. So it's not being able to say those things that you may be feeling, or having to suppress that.
It's another tough part of the job.
There's different personalities. Again, I work with mostly the adults and personalities, and trying to get people to understand that downtown is with you. We're not against you. We're not a different entity. We're all a team that's working together for these kids. And I mean, people in my office call them the babies. We got to take care of the babies. We got to place the babies. We got to buy this for the babies. We got to do that for the babies, because that's what we're here for, is the kids, and to get that communication, that C in there with people, and make them understand that we are working together, and this is all for these kids. So
You just brought up something. I kind of make these questions up as I go, but this us versus them.
yeah, I hate it.
Yeah, do the folks who are in the building, do you feel that way? Like us versus them, like central office versus what's going on in the buildings? You feel that's there?
By me coming from the central office,
That's right, yeah.
now that I'm in a school building, sometimes I do feel that way. It's unfortunately, yeah, I do. Especially when it comes to communication, when you can't get a timely response. Not calling any department out, but when we're in schools, the reason we are employed is because of the school, the children that attend the school building. But sometimes I do feel it's us versus them.
And I'm glad you spoke up, Kim, because we worked together. You actually worked for me. And one of your strengths was there was no parent or no one who's not going to get a call back.
That's my.
It just didn't happen.
Absolutely.
No one ever called my office when I was chief of school innovation and said I didn't get a call back. And so, yeah, this is. I didn't know we were going to go there, Carla, but that us versus them. Does anybody else feels that way sometimes? Okay. So maybe it's not in mass.
Good.
Good. Maybe it's just a little bit. When I say customer service, what do you think? When I say that word, what is it? What do you think? What does it look like? What does that look like? Customer service. I see your eyes, Julie.
Well, in this school, it's answering the phones in a timely manner, not just letting it ring and ring, or ignoring or anything like that. Returning voicemails if need be. Anybody that comes into the building with a smile, you might be having personal issues outside, but I, take that coat off and put a different one on because those kids need me to have a smile for them. And, parents do too.
And customer service for me looks like answering the phone and being that listening ear on the other end, answering a ringing doorbell, and someone comes in, possibly unhappy, and trying to put that fire out. Customer service looks like those children that walk through that door every morning that we don't know where they laid their heads last night. They could come in hungry. Of course, we feed them. And specifically for Charity Adams, we even help clothe them as well. Again, of course, we're an all-girls school, so from time to time, you may even seeing someone doing hair. Someone may come in with a hoodie on. Oh, I didn't get my hair done, and we try to boost our girls. So customer service for me looks a little different, depending on who that client is that comes through that door.
I heard there was a wonderful Black History Month program today.
It was.
I'm going to have to see it on video, but I heard about it.
You will.
Customer service, what does it sound like, look like?
So somebody told me 100 years ago in a different field that I was in that we don't build a widget. We can't hand somebody what we made. So our product to give to people is our service. Education's a little bit different because we do have a product, which is the education of kids, but it's still an intangible. You can't touch it, you can't feel it, you can't put it on a shelf. So our service is what we have to be known for. We have to serve these kids, we have to serve their parents, we have to serve each other.
You here at Central Office or Central Services, I don't want to get in trouble with Miss Minor. Here at Central Services, you are really revered. People talk about your customer service, how you support, how you give back, your disposition. And I work just about every weekend. I still do. And I was walking around here one Saturday, and I saw you down there working on a Saturday. I was like, wow, you all work on Saturdays and Sundays too. I don't think people know that.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that have to be done. We joke about or don't joke about, but the truth is, if you go into special ed, you go in for a reason. Nobody banged down your door to get you to come to special ed. This is something you chose, and it's huge. You're a teacher, you're a paperwork filler outer, you're a diaper changer, you're a talk people down off the ledge. I mean, there's so much in special ed, it's unbelievable, and people chose that profession, and I think it's amazing.
This customer service, I'm going to continue on this path because I want to hear from everyone. But that's how you actually got here. I asked for you to be selected. I said, I need six folks. And my only criteria, I said, the names don't really matter to me, but this is what I do want. I want to make sure they're good at customer service. And when they got me the list, I said, we're good. So, yeah, that's a really big thing, customer service. Who else can speak to customer service and what it means to you?
I pride myself on customer service because it's to me, it's going that extra mile. I'm an early school, which I didn't like at first, but I enjoy it. Now that I'm older, I get up early, so I might as well go to work. But I get there first thing in the morning. Sometimes the kids get there when they come in. Good morning. The first person they see is usually the transportation, and that person may or may not speak. But when they come in with me, good morning. How was your weekend, or how was your day? Just being kind. Even the parents, they come in angry, and like she said, listening. You listen to that parent. Let them. They may curse, whatever, and I'll listen. And then I'll talk to them in a calm voice. I apologize. It may not even be my fault. I'm sorry, Mrs. So-and-so. We'll try to do better. Let me take your name and number and get back with you. So I do. I love customer service. It's my number one.
You are spectacular at that.
Thank you, sir.
And I have that from experience. I mean, I mean spectacular. In one of my previous roles, I supervised athletics when I was chief of school innovation, and lots of schools, about 18, 19, 20 of them. And we would get parent complaints at the schools, and they would come back to my office and Lisa Minor and I. We were both chiefs at the same time. And one of the things I loved about you was sometimes I would call the parent back late that evening after you had already called them, just to say, hey, I hear you out. We heard your concerns. I knew it was already taken care of. Mm-hmm. And they would go on and on about you. I couldn't get out the phone. They were talking about how great you were. I'm in my office at 7:38 trying to get out the phone, and they're talking about you. And so you were able to diffuse some of the most angry, volatile parents. Mm-hmm. And it's your disposition, your space, how you present yourself, and of course you know everybody.
Yes.
You know everybody. Yeah. You were, amazing.
Thanm you.
Yeah, customer service. Who wants to speak about what does that look like? What does it feel like to you?
Customer service also as a district, we have to service each other.
Absolutely.
Whether we're in
Absolutely.
a school
That's a good
building,
Say less.
whether we're
Absolutely.
in a department,
Yes.
we have to learn to
Yes.
better serve one another. We all work for one cause.
Yes.
So we have a committee, the Customer Service Committee, and they're currently going around to introduce training that they received at Disney around customer service. It is something that is being led by Dr. Goodwine. She and a team of people went down there to Disney to an institute, came back with certificates, and I think those little ears to it, all that stuff. And they really enjoyed themselves. And that was really brought on by this idea around how we treat each other. I've said this publicly before, and I stand by this. I think our report card is important. You know, as the superintendent, we are certainly focused on academics, no doubt about it. But when people see me and they say that they're leaving Dayton Public Schools, they don't say, hey, I looked at the report card and on progress there were 2 stars, and underneath 2 stars there were these schools that made value added. And underneath value added, they were in the red, blue. Nobody that says all that. They just don't say it. What they say is, hey, I had an experience that didn't go well, I'm out.
Exactly.
Yeah, so if we want to bring people back to Dayton Public Schools, absolutely, we're getting better academically for sure. That's going to happen, but we also at the same time want to get better at customer service as well.
To me, it's putting your feelings aside. We're the front line. We're the first people that they see when they come into the building. So it has to be top tier. Most of the time, like if you're going through something in your body, like me this morning, I didn't feel well. And so I came in, and the kids, they would not let me in the office. And I'm like, move. But that made me feel better. It's like I couldn't show them that I wasn't feeling well or be mean to them. Like they made me laugh. I made them laugh. You just never know what they're going through. Parents, they'll come in angry sometimes, and I'll end up making them laugh. Or sometimes I'll be like, you just need a hug. And I'll get up and hug them. Don't hug me, but I still hug them. And, you know, they end up feeling better. So we wear many hats when it comes to customer service.
Yes.
So.
What say you?
Well, customer service is definitely, of course, about empathy. Empathy is the biggest thing because you never know what somebody is going through when they come through those doors. So you have to, of course, be there for them and listen to them. You have to build a relationship with them. Whoever comes, you know, if they answer on the phone, even if they don't know you, you gotta, hey, how you doing? You good? You straight? I'm always making sure that people, of course, smile or laugh. Laugh with me, because life is short.
Amen.
So let's all laugh. Let's all greet each other. Let's, you know, you might be upset. I might be a little upset, but we are not going to show it to each other because we need to make sure that we build one another more so than put people down. So with customer service, it's all about, you know, making sure everybody got that sunshine on them.
And you know the kids. I sent you an email about that once.
Yeah.
I sure did. You know the kids. And you know what else you are? If I were a principal, again, I would love to have you as my support because you're a protector.
Yeah.
You protect the principal, not in a bad way. Not like the principal is doing something bad and they need to be protected, but that's a really difficult job under all type of stressors, and you find ways to take those stressors away by almost being like another principal and somebody who like filters things so that the principal can focus on the work that they want to have. So I would. That principal is in really good hands, Ms. Bailey. So, you know, this is a labor of love and education in terms of what you do because you're dealing with all the adults in the building, right? We're dealing with kids. And at the high school level, there are many adults to me, high school and middle school. Elementary, we're dealing with kids. There are lots of other people in the building, too, and lots of other people here in central office in different departments. Yeah, how do y'all deal with those people? Because they have needs, too. Everybody wants something from that office. The custodian, the paraprofessionals, you know, somebody dropping something off.
Yes.
You know, so there's a whole bunch of other adults, you know, who want something from the office, and they're all lined up. How do you deal with that? And they want it now, yesterday.
I always tell people, I'll be like, y'all really think I'm just the front person that's just answering the phones. It's not about answering the phones. I am my principal secretary. I am my assistant principal secretary. I'm the counselor's secretary. I'm the teachers. I'm the parents. You're everybody's. And sometimes it can be a weight on our shoulder.
Yes.
It really can be a weight on our shoulders. When we come in, we have to set whatever aside that we are dealing with at home before we come in with our kids. We have to put everything on the back burner to make sure that everybody else is good. And sometimes it'd be like, I have to sit aside and be like, are you good? Are you okay personally? Because if I'm not okay, I can't perform as good as I need to. So I always have to make sure I check myself and listen to music before I come in because I know I have to be there for, I would say, with about 1,000 people. We deal with probably 1,000 people almost a day between parents, kids,
I forgot
teachers.
about all that the athletic stuff. They want stuff
Athletics,
too. I completely forgot about
we
that.
are, even though we are at a certain building, we are everybody's help. We are everybody's help.
And everyone wants what they want when they want it.
And they want it
now.
now.
They don't think
They
about
want it
all the
now.
other
Yesterday.
things you have to do.
Julie said yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah, where's my stuff? Carla and Kim, you two have a space here where you're here at central office. And I'm going to have you put your central office hat back on. That building piece is real.
Oh, yeah.
When you're here, give people just a glimpse into what happens here in terms of that space around people wanting things and when they want them. And by the way, it's a different type of pressure. Like they're not kids here, but it's a different type of pressure. Does that make sense? Because
Yes.
you've worked for the superintendent.
Yes.
When you do that, when they call to ask you something, the superintendent, the chief of OAC, it typically means there's some pressure coming from somewhere else.
Exactly.
And they need it now, right? And they need it right, accurate. Yeah. What's that like? That type of pressure
Normally,
versus being in the building.
and I must say, I do enjoy being in the building. I really do. This is my first year,
man.
and I really do enjoy it. But working in the administration office, people would come to me asking various questions. Kim, do you know where such and such is? Or where is, for example, where's Mr. Lawrence? I don't know where he is, but I'd make up something. I wouldn't know. Mr. Lawrence is in a meeting at this time. May I take a message, or can I get something I can assist you with? But I'm an Aries, so we're leaders. We're born leaders. So I'm calm and cool, and I try not to get flustered. I try not to get flustered, but I would handle myself. Any type of pressure, I would just handle it. I would handle it in a professional manner, But in the school building, it's the same. Where's LaDon Mims? I don't know. But is there something I can help you with? You put yourself in out there. You become the leader. If the principal or administrator is not available, you become the administrator, and you have to make some decisions, executive decisions sometimes. And I enjoy doing that.
Now, Carla, people think working at Ludlow is easy. Speak to that.
Yeah.
Speak to that, Carla.
No, well, I will be honest. I've been in buildings and helped out in a couple of buildings, and holy cow. Oh, these secretaries are some busy ladies. They have phones and people and kids and pressure and things that are timely and blah, blah, blah. So they got a lot going on. So I give much respect to these ladies here because
Thank you, Carla.
yes, you're welcome. You guys deserve it. It's a lot. I've seen it in action, and I'm like, okay, just take one piece of it away, and it'll be okay. So I'm fourth in line with answering the phone, so that helps a lot for me, a whole lot. And I'm sorry you guys don't have that. Let's get them some more help so
Let me
they
write
don't
that
have
down.
to answer all the phones all the
Fourth
time.
in line. Will they take second?
Exactly. But one of the big things I do is supporting our staff, and by supporting them, I support the kids. So when they need something purchased, whether it's assessments for psychs or assessments for OT, PT, speech and language, whether they need assistive technology. So I shop a lot, which is really fun because it's not my money and my husband appreciates that. Packages aren't coming to our house, but Mr. Patrick gets upset with me. So, no, he doesn't. He never gets upset. He says, Carla, that's my job, because he brings me boxes and then I turn around and tell logistics to take them where they need to go and that stuff. But that is, oh my gosh, the best part of my job. We had the open house for Project Life the other night.
I heard about it.
You were triple booked, and I knew you couldn't be
Triple
there,
booked,
but oh
but
my
yes.
gosh.
That
Getting
is
to go there, it's the first time I'd seen it. So I'm like, here's the kitchen we built, and I brought my husband. He graduated from Belmont. So I brought my husband, and I'm like, and we did this kitchen. And before this, it was a machine shop, and they changed all this out, and they did this, and here's the printer, and this is what the kids are doing, and all of this. I mean, it's just like, that makes my life. Other than my grandkids and my family, I mean, that makes my life, because you get to see it in action. You guys see it every day in action, and I'm removed from seeing that. So going to that open house, that was so cool.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. Yeah, but
I'm going to close out with one final question because it's aligned to kind of a campaign that we have asking folks why DPS. I asked the kids that. I've asked the adults in the organization that, why do you work here? Tell me what it is that drives you to come in here every day and support Dayton Public Schools.
oh, go ahead, Renika.
To me, of course, it's our students. They do something to me every day. They're I call them testimonies, because they go through so much at home, and we as clericals, we as staff, the adults, they really do change their life, because at home they don't get that love sometimes. They don't get that attention, but when they come to the schools, they gonna get whatever they are looking for. I really say DPS, of course, is the best for the kids, because we're family. We are family.
So me coming to Dayton Public Schools is kind of a long story, so I won't go into all of it, but suffice it to say, I worked at a job for 18 years that pretty much ended, and I was looking for something else because I'm not ready to retire yet. I'm not that age. And I applied here and didn't hear anything for a year, almost to the date. And then Mr. Hicks called me, and he said, we got an opening. We'd like for you to come in for an interview. And I had no clue. I've never been in education before. The only thing I bring in is being a mom and having a kid who's gone to school. So that's it. That's my only education experience. And this has been the most rewarding job I have ever had in my life. I love it.
Wow.
Love it.
You say why DPS, I say why not. I drive 35 minutes to come here every day because I just love the staff and the kids that are around me. I have 719 kids at school, 2 at home, but I love those babies. I like walking through the hallway. Hey, Miss Booth, giving them hugs. How was your weekend? Be safe. It's a whole different dynamic.
I can see it every time I'm there. And see you.
And for me, coming to Dayton Public Schools, I'm a product of Dayton Public Schools. My
What school?
son, my daughter, you name it, Hickorydale, Valerie.
Okay.
What
high school?
I actually graduated high school in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, so I finished in Georgia. But my children are product of Dayton Public Schools. My daughter graduated, of course, from Stivers School for the Arts. She was a McIntosh Scholar. Great things. But my journey back to Dayton Public Schools when I ended my military career. So I left one battlefield for another, in a different type of a battlefield, for our DPS babies every day, the lives that they live. And I try to tell our girls, baby, you have a long life ahead of you. Right now, you're living mommy's life, daddy's life, you know. So when they come in with their stories from their battlefields of the night before, you know, you just, sometimes you're brokenhearted, you know, and you have to give them encouraging words, you know. So like Julie said, why not DPS? What do we have to offer them?
Maybe we'll change the slogan. And why not?
Why not? That's awesome.
How about that?
I started DPS in 1997. Sharice Kidd and I, we started working with Gene Harper at the old Roosevelt.
Dr. Harper.
Yes, and that was an amazing experience there. When I hated to see Roosevelt shut down, but my experience during my 25-year career has been awesome. I've worked for 3 superintendents, several administrators, and I've enjoyed each and every moment. Now I'm really, really excited about working with these students over at Cleveland. I never worked in a school building, and those babies, I tell you, when they come in the morning, you know, snotty nose and coughing on you, you know, here, baby, here's some hand sanitizer, here's a tissue, you know, but I really enjoy working in the school building, and I've enjoyed being a rehiree. Thank you so much, Mr.
Listen,
Dr. Lawrence.
anything for you. Anything. It's one of
Well-
the stories that bring back a lot of people.
Yes.
I would say it's fulfilling. I feel like I'm finally fulfilling my purpose on earth. And when you see the lives that you touched and, you know, the love that you can give a student, you know, even the teachers, you know, they go through a lot too. And being that support system for them and your admin team, you know, I feel like I'm putting on a cape and saving lives. So it's very fulfilling for me.
Well, Piao, I appreciate you as usual. It's great hanging out with my podcast guests. And I would like to say that I know all of these ladies, and I've learned something about them today that I didn't know as they told their stories. It just goes to show, even though you see people in passing all the time and you speak to them and you hug them and you talk a little bit, moments like this when we get a chance to just kind of let our guard down, there aren't kids around, and just kind of have a freestyling conversation, you learn even more about each other. I would encourage everyone in the organization to continue to learn more about each and one of you, your personal lives. That matters as well as your school lives. So on behalf of Dayton Public Schools and the leadership team, DPS the next level. We're out of here.